You're listening to Ask When, the podcast. Folks from all walks of life talk about their daily hustle and bustle, living and celebrating life, sharing tips on becoming champions, especially for those who are muscling mental and physical disabilities. Ask When, the podcast, with your host who has mustered over 30 years living with cerebral palsy and going strong. Author and cerebral palsy advocate Wynn Charles. Ask When, the podcast starts right now.
Welcome to Ask When. I have Chris with me, and Mr. Chris is a podcaster. And so I'm glad Chris take it away and share his story.
Yeah, thank you, Wynn. It's really awesome to be here and be able to chat with you. But yeah, like you said, I'm a podcaster, which is part of my success and lifestyle coaching business called Pencil Leadership. That paired with my network marketing business has put me on a path to accomplish my mission, which is to positively impact 1 million lives. Whether that be through health and wellness, through their mindset, or just helping people get started on their goals and their dreams. And so I am trying to just help people live to their fullest. And I'm super humble and blessed to be able to do that and come into contact with so many amazing people like yourself, and just hear their stories and learn more from their perspectives and grow alongside with them. So that's just a little bit about me.
And you guys, yours truly was going to be on Chris's schedule, but due to confangled technology issues, we had to reschedule.
Yeah, technology.
So
I think it's because everybody's on it. Everybody's on technology. It's floated down.
But you will get to hear the other side of me. Chris and I have already rescheduled, so you guys will get to hear the other side of me. But Chris, what is your favorite book and what is the title?
My favorite book would have to, so I read a lot of business and self-development books, but my favorite book still would have to be The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, because I just love the adventure in it. I love that the person that saves the day is Frodo, this little hobbit, compared to everyone else in the story. And so it reminds me that no matter what our position is, or our titles, or where we are in life, like, we can still have an impact and we can still make a big difference. And so it just kind of gives me hope in any situation that we can overcome.
How cool is that? How cool is that? And so the Lord of the Rings. And now if you had to move and buy and only take 5 things with you, what would they be?
5 things. I would have to say one would have to be my laptop, just so I could continue to work and reach people. 5 things. That's a good question. What else would I take? I would have to take my animals. They gotta come with me. I love my animals, so they'd have to come. My books, so I can continue to learn and dig into those and expand my knowledge base so I can help others. I would take probably my running shoes, so I could still go out on a run in good footwear and kind of get away from stuff. And I guess I'm obligated to say, and would take her anyways, but my wife, I would definitely want her to come as well, because she's such a great support and encourager for me. So those are my 5 things.
Well, that's terrific. And if your BFF had to write a book about you, what would the title be?
My best friend wrote a book about me. The title, and I know you sent this to me beforehand to think about. Thankfully, it would have to be titled Off-Roading. because
Off-roading.
we did some crazy stuff growing up, just adventures, kayaking, things like that. And I was always the one to try to just push the limits a little bit, and go and be adventurous and step out and do things maybe without a plan or without really thinking about what could happen consequences wise. And so I think off-roading would be what he would title it.
Off-roading. Jeez, Chris, I'm surprised you didn't get the sable one because of off-roading. Look before you leap. Jeez, Chris.
Right.
And so, what is your morning routine?
My morning routine has definitely changed over time, but finally got to a point that's really fit for me. I like to get up and first do some sort of workout, something to get my heart rate going, get sweat going a little bit, just so I can get awake and get the blood flowing. So then I can go into my next part of my routine, which is reflection. So talking about or writing down what I'm grateful for. I read the Bible, so get into the Bible and hear what God has to say to me. Spend some time in prayer or meditation, and then write down my goals. So reflect on that, reflect on what I want to do and accomplish. And then it goes into the third part, which is learning. So I either listen to an audio or I watch a YouTube video, something, or read something that's going to increase my knowledge or increase my view on things and help me just to get better.
So, you read and listen to a podcast just to increase your knowledge. And now I know you have questions for me right now, and because other people can listen to when we do our podcast together. I know you have a million questions, but what would be those questions?
I think a good one I would like to hear is, do you have a mentor and or someone who has really influenced your path and doing everything you've done?
Yes. And unfortunately, I lost my great mentor on May 19th. And my great
I'm
mentor
sorry.
had the 3-letter word of a dad. And so he started me on this journey of solo entrepreneurship. I never knew him in the corporate world. I always knew him as a solo entrepreneur. So even though he was in corporate world, he wasn't in the corporate world. He did sound engineering for Bob Dylan, Neil Diamond, John
Wow,
Denver, The Pink Floyd, just to name a few. Thank you very much.
that's awesome.
So, and when he got off the road, he decided to do his own sound. He decided to do his own home entertainment business. So yes, sound home entertainment. And so I never saw him put on a suit. I never saw him put on a tie in his life. My stepmom never saw him put on a suit, never saw him put on a tie. So we both knew him as a entrepreneur. He left the entrepreneurial world in 2010 after my mom had died. So to take care of me. And
Wow.
so he I had a mentor. I had a cloud mentor, and I just lost him, as I said, May 19th of 2019.
I'm sorry for your loss, but he sounds like a great man.
Oh, he was. He was. And he and I were very, very, very close. So,
Hmm.
yeah, so that
Wow. Well,
is
thank you for sharing. I always love hearing how people learn and who they learn from. But and so going through live, my next question would be, if you make a mistake, because no one's perfect, obviously, and so we're gonna make mistakes. But how do you approach that situation where you might have made a mistake and try to fix it? What's your approach with people or a situation?
well, number 1, I say I'm sorry. Number 1,
Mm,
I say I'm sorry. Number 2, if the situation can be fixed, I try and fix it immediately. And the
mm-hmm.
first words out of my mouth, "Well, I'm sorry. How can we do this better?"
Yeah, I love that. Just the humbleness of, sorry, I made a mistake. Let's get this right. Let's do what it takes to
Yeah,
make it right. So I love
yeah,
that. That's awesome.
exactly. Exactly. And so that's how I do it, and um, that's how I want to do it, and yeah, that's how I
Awesome.
want to do it, and I will stand by that until the day I die, and being me, authentically me is, one way of doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's a good place to stand for sure. Um, so I like that. So the next one I have and the last one is, so after everything is done on Earth for you, you spent your time, your last breath here. What is one mark that you want to have left on the world?
That I was an educator through and through, that I
Mm,
walked this earth, um, with education in my heart. I just came out of a very tumultuous educational career that I just
mm,
left, on March 13th, 2020, and
wow.
so yeah, that was interesting, and
Hmm.
I just, left that, but I'm still teaching people on a daily basis what it's like to have cerebral palsy.
Mm. That's awesome, and I'm sure that lots of people are learning so many great things from you, Win. So that's amazing. I love that.
Well, I hope they are. I hope they
Yeah, I'm
are.
sure they are.
I hope, and, and I am trying to, get a very special podcast together. I keep hinting at this podcast, but the timing hasn't worked out, you guys. And
Mm,
with everything that's gone on, um, I am thinking that we may be doing it in July. I mean,
mm,
I the reason why I want to put this podcast together is because I want you guys to see the other side of me, and the other side is very interesting. You you don't see you see the content creation side. You don't see the win struggling with cerebral palsy side. So
mm,
I am hopefully going to do this podcast in July. Hopefully, it will
awesome.
be
Yeah.
recorded in July because some of it will not surprise you. Other pieces of it will surprise you, and yeah, and I brought aides on in the past to this podcast, but I'm going to probably plan a very special episode, and hopefully it's gonna be July, or maybe it will be summertime this summer. I'm hoping summertime this summer. And so, Chris, where can people find you? And of course, where can people find your podcast?
Yeah, so my podcast is Pencil Leadership, and it can be found basically anywhere you listen to podcasts at. Other than that, you can head to my website, which is www.pencilleadership.com, or a big platform I am on is Instagram at chris.t.anderson. So you can check out things that I post there and connect with me. I love talking to new people, so send me messages, reach out. I would love to talk with you. And then you can find my other links through the website as well. So
Chris.p.anderson on Instagram. And you guys, I'm on Instagram as well as AskWin622. And you guys can follow me on there. And that's an open book. And so you guys can do whatever you wish. I'm also on Facebook, but the main place where you can find everything about me is askwin.webelieve.com, and you can also find me hanging out on the Facebook. I admit Instagram and Facebook are a little too much too soon right now, but that's because we're stuck at home and we're bored, and I don't want to admit that I'm bored, but scrolling through Instagram is my great weakness. But as soon as I get over what's going on right now, I will stop my great weakness. But you guys can find me over there and follow me and join the fun. And thanks to you guys for your support, and I'll catch you guys next week. Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Win.
You just listened to Ask Win, the podcast. To become a guest in the show, visit our website at askwin.weebly.com or call 816-591-3399. Just look for Danielle. Connect with Win on Twitter at Win Kelly Charles and like our Facebook page at Butterflies of Wisdom. You can also purchase Win's book through Amazon.com or get a copy of the audiobook through Audible. Ask Win, the podcast.